Hi, and welcome to this quick tool review. This time around we'll be reviewing a major purchase I made recently. One of two I hope to make in the coming years. The last two major pieces of equipment, machinery I really would like to get. This is a bandsaw, and I looked at a bunch of different types of bandsaws. Standard upright bandsaws, horizontal bandsaws, which are kind of limited functionality. Then the combination of them, like the roll-in saw. This saw is actually a copy of the roll-in saw with some improvements, and it is a Baxter Verticut. And it's sort of a copy, except they made some improvements. I purchased it from H.H. Roberts Machinery in Ontario, Canada, and they were nice enough to ship it out here to California and build this extra large crate to hold it. They normally just put it on a pallet, but they wanted to be more careful since it was going much farther distance. The differences between this and the roll-in saw is this guy, number one, has variable speed option, which I got. So they put a 3-phase motor and put an electronic variable speed control on it. On top of that, the gearbox that drives the blade is enclosed rather than open. There's a lot more shrouding on the bottom. It's a lot heavier than a roll-in saw. The roll-in saw is about 600 pounds if I remember right. This guy is 1,000. And has a beautiful cast iron top, just like the roll-in saw. It's pretty much similar, other than that one couple differences there. Another big improvement is the price because of the Canadian exchange rate. Even with the $1,000 upgrade for the variable speed, this guy was still $1,000 cheaper than the roll-in saw. And the shipping, the vendor that I bought it from really worked with me, and instead of $500 and something was $200 and something. So it's an excellent deal. Now this guy weighs 1,000 pounds, so getting it into my shop is going to be a bit challenging. So what I got was some machinery moving skates, which I'd intended to get a long time ago in case I ever wanted to reposition any of my machinery. That combined with a Johnson bar, which is a huge lever, will help you get it up. Now another nice thing to have, which I didn't get, was a toe jack, which is a jack that basically the bottom plate goes flush with the ground, and then so you can lift very low things up. I've sort of needed machinery movers for a long time, because if I ever want to move my lathe or my mill at 2,000 pounds plus for the mill and 3,500 or so for the lathe, if I ever want to move them, I'm going to need them anyway. So they were something I planned on getting. They're kind of an expensive purchase, so I've got to sort of factor that in with the cost. But oh, and they shipped it with a lift gate, so they set it right in front of my garage door, which is pretty nice. So my challenge now will be to get it in the shop weighing 1,000 pounds. And hopefully these guys will help. So let me get this guy unboxed and uncrated, and I'll bring you back. So I finally got this guy in place. Here it is. And it has a work stop over here. It's a very adjustable, and it's bolted to the bottom so you can remove it. It's got a vise that can be moved to either side of the work as well. It has a foot lever to do repeat work here. So you cut a piece, put a new piece in, cut a piece, all down there. It has the hand lever to lock it back. Sorry about down there, which locks the back so you can replace the band, the blade. Over here on the side here is the counterweight that you set for how much force the blade's going to push into the work with. Back here is the blade lock, and when the saw is already all the way forward over here, you slide this up and lock it, and then it turns it into a regular vertical bandsaw, easy to cut. Has a nice, beautiful Blanchard ground 1-inch thick cast iron surface, and it has a vertically adjustable blade guard here. And over on this side is the blade guide. Let me use two hands to set that. Internally, there's a carriage stop right down there that you can adjust to set how far the blade will go forward. And in the back, this comes with a 110 volt 20 amp plug on the end, so I needed to make an extension cord for my 20 amp outlet. The motor and gearbox are all completely enclosed to service the bandsaw blade. Just come to the front and lock this guy back, and they did it nice. Just unsnap. 1/4 inch cast iron surrounding, well, not cast iron, 1/4 inch steel plate, cast iron wheels top and bottom. Unclip the unsnap the bottom as well, and swap out the blade. It supports 1/4 inch to 3/4 inch blades. Has a 1 horsepower motor on the variable speed version, and on the regular version there's a 3/4 horsepower motor. And these are nice turned cast iron plates here, kind of like weightlifting plates. Makes me wonder if they repurpose something like that. With a rubber tire. So you can just lock this back. Everything is heavy duty on this guy. They did a very nice job. Upper and lower blade guides. Hardened, look like they're hardened steel. Blade tension adjust right here. And to turn it on, you release the emergency brake, turn the system on, and it's currently set to 150 surface feet per minute. Just hit play and it soft starts. We can turn it down all the way down to 70 and all the way up. Sorry. We can turn all the way up to 350. And they've dampened the response. They've dampened the response so that it doesn't try and immediately make a speed change. All right, let's try and make a cut. There are angle marks on the protractor, which is very nice. And the clamping system is very solid. It's a heavy angle block. So I've got the weight set way back, and I'm really not sure how much force you should do. This is soft steel. I guess I'll start here and just see what happens. I can always move up the weight and try again. So let's try 150 surface feet per minute. Let it get up to speed. And start to cut. So it looks like you might be able to move the weight up and make it a little more aggressive. Let's try that. So I decided to give this guy a workout, and I've been cutting through this 1-inch stock and increase the pressure a little bit, not a lot, and speed's still a little over 150 surface feet a minute, and it's cutting really smoothly and very reasonably fast. Very pleased. So that covers the outside, but let's take a look at the electrical, because that's probably going to be pretty interesting. Alright, so here's the electrical control panel, nicely laid out, very neat, and although I'm not an industrial control guy, I do have an electrical engineering background, so I was able to sort of parse out what some of this did by looking at what the symbols on their drawings are and tracing out some wires. Overall, you've got power coming in on the bottom, which goes up through the main fuse here, and there's a secondary fuse for the control circuitry. Next to that is a relay, which is dedicated to this guy, and I believe it's controlled in the circuitry that does the latching on the buttons here for the system on. So when you engage the emergency shut-off button so that it is not an emergency shut-off anymore, that allows power to flow to the system on button 110. The control circuitry in this one all appears to be 110. When you push system on, that engages this contactor, and they feed part of the voltage back through the contactor normally open, so when the contactor is closed, then it closes those contacts and it keeps this engaged. Now if you were to push the emergency stop, it breaks that, and that endless loop is broken and the contactor goes off. The contactor
sends power to the variable frequency drive. The output of the variable frequency drive, it takes in 110 single phase and puts out 3-phase so that they can more easily control the speed of the motor. And the output of that goes to this overload protection device, and the output of the overload protection device goes to the motor. And that's pretty much it. This device is so that if the motor starts drawing too much current, it'll disable it, so you'll prevent destroying the motor if it gets stuck or jammed or something. As for the stuff up here, like the speed control is just a pot, and the pot's all 3 wires go to the variable frequency drive, which has inputs for such a pot, and the whole point of that is just to set the speed. And when you hit start cut, that's just a closure that goes to the variable frequency drive. Same with stop cut, they both go to the variable frequency drive, and just tell it to ramp up or ramp down. And all the settings of the variable frequency drive are available in your manual, so you could change the ramp up time and the ramp down time if you wanted. The manual is not available online directly. You have to ask for it, and then they will email it to you after you send them a serial number. So anyways, I think they did a really nice job, and I'm going to seal this guy back up, but that's just my basic understanding of how this thing works. And again, it is a Baxter Verticut made in Canada. They are really quick to respond to emails. I asked them questions up front, and they were really quick, and so was the vendor that I bought this from. They helped me get the wire transfer going. So my general thoughts are, so far, outstanding. Thanks for watching. Hope you found it useful. Hope to see you next time.